Welcome everybody to the educational section of Noldy Hollywood's YouTube channel. Today, the 7 habits of highly effective people. When my life has turned to shit, or I was in jail and I hadn't read a book that I liked since elementary school, and I didn't even know what the fuck self-help was, this is where I started. The ultimate foundation even still has the jail sticker on it. 7 habits of highly effective people. I just wanted to go over the first couple pages, not even the first chapter. It's basically the first foreword and I think it might have been the acknowledgments and the first inside out, which is like the first prelude to the actual habits. And I just wanted to say something here. This one sentence really fucked my shit up, let me tell you. This is him. I'm quoting him. This is from the book. One of the most profound learnings of my life is this. Here's my... I like to use photos as bookmarkers. It's kind of motivational, kind of overflowing motivation. One of the most profound lessons of my life is this. If you want to achieve your highest aspirations and overcome your greatest challenges, this is it right here. This is the formula. Identify and apply the principle or natural law that governs the results you seek. I'm going to say it one more time. Identify and apply the principle or natural law that governs the results you seek. The reason I love this fucking book so much is because it makes me feel like I'm actually empowered. A lot of other books, and nothing wrong with any book. I mean, there's so many fucking good books out there. But when you start teaching specific techniques, at least for me personally, then I start to feel like, okay, I got to follow this exactly. Am I doing it right? Am I not doing it right? Can I even do this? Do I have the skill? Do I have the know-how? Fuck. But when you think that it's just, okay, so if I want to be successful at something, I just start with the principles. You start to be calm. You start to be like, okay, it's good. Like, let's say, for me, the gym's always a good example because I know that I can do really good at the gym. All right, so I want an aesthetically pleasing, are you up? Are you here? Whatever. I want an aesthetically pleasing body. And at the gym, it's like, okay, well, I could follow like this 7-week program from this bodybuilder or whatever. I can be like, you know what? I just know that I have to eat well. I know that I have to work out almost every day. Sometimes I even work out twice a day. Not saying that that's good or anything, but I just know I have to eat well. I have to work out. I need to know principles like progressive muscle growth, where when you're working on a specific set, you increase the weight each, or when you're doing 3 or 4 sets, you increase the weight a little bit on each set to progressively make your muscles get stronger, and then the fibers break and reconnect or whatever. But just following the principles, it's like, okay, yeah, like, okay, you need water. That's good nutrition. That's a principle. Okay, I can do that. You just go to the gym every day, and you'll start to see results after a little bit. Okay, I can do that. Progressive strength training, okay, I can understand. That's an easy concept. But as soon as you started to get into like, okay, you need to fucking do concentrated bicep curls, and then you need to do this, and then you need to do that, it's like, oh, Jesus, I've never even done that before. Can I even do that? So I really, really, really like that. Let's see here. Brother and a friend of his. Boom. This is a nice distinction right here. This put me on days of like, what? Did you really just say that? Each of us has many, many maps in our head. What we think reality is what he means. Which can be divided into 2 categories. Maps of the way things are, or realities, and maps of the way things should be, or values. We interpret everything we experience through mental maps. We seldom question their accuracy. We're usually even unaware that we have them. So that goes into subconscious that I've talked about in other of them, in other videos. We simply assume that the way we see things is the way they really are, or the way they should be. And I know that happens to me. Let's just push close here. That's just so true. Me. I'm not going to say we, because I'm not going to presume to know anybody that's not me. But when I think something, I immediately default to like, okay, well then that's the truth. And a lot of people have told me like, you know, you get on shit, even if it's the stupidest thing ever. Like I remember when I read Grain Brain, and I was getting into eating as natural as possible. No fucking rice, no flour, as close to nature intended it to be as possible, to quote Kevin Trudeau. And when I would talk to other people that were healthy, they'd be like, everybody's different, man. Just do what you do. And I'm like, no, because your brain's gonna get inflamed if you eat like flour and shit. And it's just I go off on tangents because I haven't been present to the moment over a lot of my life. So to know that, or to at least remember from time to time that when I think it is not necessarily reality, brings me back to reality, to say the least. Now, with this book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, basically his big argument, his big statement is that you want to, or the most effective way to live your life in reality is to work for principles throughout your whole life, because principles are not going to change. They're essentially changeless throughout millions of years or hundreds of thousands or thousands of years of human civilization, whatever belief you subscribe to. But here's just a couple examples of what he means by principles, because it's like, okay, principle, like, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand. Examples of principles would be integrity and honesty. They create the foundation of trust, which is essential to cooperation and long-term personal and interpersonal growth, so integrity and honesty. Another principle is human dignity, the basic concept in the U.S. Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Gotta love that pursuit of happiness. Another principle is service, or the idea of making a contribution, so service, human dignity. Another is quality or excellence. And then he goes on to talk about potential, growth, encouragement. Now, one application of principles is found in the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. He talks about it. I read it. It's great. And there's this section that's the most popular that I think most people would probably talk about when they talk about Benjamin Franklin's autobiography. And that's the fact that when he was young, he was probably in his late teens, early 20s. I can't remember the exact time, but he made what he quoted as the arduous project, I'm not even sure how to pronounce that, of living a morally perfect life is what he prescribed it. Now, obviously, there's different definitions of moral out there, and I'm still kind of clinging to that idea, but what he would do is he would have a word kind of like quality or humbleness or sincerity or quiet or something like that. And he would have just a short definition of what it is and what it isn't, like temperance, and to drink not to elation, and to eat not to dullness, or whatever it is. And he would literally have a notebook where he would mark down his actions throughout a day or a week or however long he was working on that idea or that principle, and he'd write down, okay, I fucked up here, 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 and here, and he would start realizing, like, wow, I'm not as morally righteous as I thought I was. And that's such an interesting way to look at it. And apparently, once I started reading this biography, the most famous biography of John D. Rockefeller, he would have a reflection book as well, if I may call it that. And I think that was actually something that was huge back in the 1800s and the early 1900s, was having a sort of a reflection notebook where you would literally reflect on your actions. Like you would own your actions, but you would also realize the necessity of reflecting on it. Okay, my actions throughout the day today, were they conducive of the type of person I want to be, or whatever it is that you want to analyze those thoughts from. And I just don't think that it's something that I never heard about until I read actually Benjamin Franklin's autobiography, and then the John D. Rockefeller biography. And I think that that's a great practical application for instilling principles and other things into your life. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of throw that at you, just a little prelude introductory into the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and Living a Principle-Centered Life. And leave comments. Don't forget to subscribe. We also have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and of course the YouTube channel. Take care.